Think of vulnerability management like maintaining a bike you ride every day. You don't just look for loose bolts once, you check, fix, recheck, and track everything so it stays safe to ride. In cybersecurity, vulnerability management is the ongoing process of finding weaknesses, deciding which ones matter most, fixing them, and making sure the fixes actually worked. Vulnerability analysis is the systematic process of identifying, assessing, and managing vulnerabilities in systems, networks, or applications. Its purpose is to understand what weaknesses exist, how serious they are, and how they could impact the organization if exploited. Confirmation is the step where security teams verify that a reported vulnerability actually exists. This helps eliminate false positives, which are alerts for vulnerabilities that are not real, and false negatives, which are real vulnerabilities that security tools failed to detect. Prioritization is the process of deciding which vulnerabilities should be fixed first. Vulnerabilities are prioritized based on severity, potential impact, environmental factors, and overall risk, so limited resources are focused on the most critical issues. The Common Vulnerability Scoring System, or CVSS, is a standardized framework used to assess the severity of vulnerabilities. It assigns a numerical score based on factors like exploitability, impact, and complexity, helping organizations compare and rank vulnerabilities consistently. Common Vulnerability Enumeration, or CVE, is a standardized system that assigns unique identifiers to publicly known vulnerabilities. CVEs provide a common reference so security teams, vendors, and tools all talk about the same vulnerability without confusion. Vulnerability classification involves grouping vulnerabilities based on characteristics such as type, affected component, or method of exploitation. This helps organizations analyze patterns and address vulnerabilities in a more organized way. The exposure factor, or EF, represents the proportion of loss a system would experience if a vulnerability were exploited. It helps quantify potential impact and supports risk-based decision-making. Environmental variables are organization-specific factors such as system configuration, architecture, and policies. These variables influence how risky a vulnerability actually is in a real-world environment. Industry and organizational impact considers how vulnerabilities affect a specific sector or organization. The same vulnerability can have very different consequences depending on the industry and business operations. Risk tolerance defines the level of risk an organization is willing to accept. This guides decisions about whether to remediate, mitigate, or temporarily accept certain vulnerabilities. Vulnerability response and remediation involve the actions taken to address identified vulnerabilities. This includes patching systems, updating configurations, prioritizing fixes, and reducing risk through structured processes. Patching is the application of updates to software, operating systems, or applications to fix known vulnerabilities. Timely patching is one of the most effective ways to prevent exploitation. Insurance in vulnerability management refers to cybersecurity insurance, which provides financial protection if a security incident occurs. While it does not fix vulnerabilities, it helps manage financial risk. Segmentation is the practice of dividing networks into smaller, isolated segments. This limits the spread of attacks and reduces the impact if a vulnerability is exploited. Compensating controls are alternative security measures used when standard fixes cannot be applied immediately. They help reduce risk until permanent remediation is possible. Exceptions and exemptions are formally approved cases where systems do not meet standard security requirements due to operational constraints. These must be carefully managed to avoid unnecessary risk. Validation of remediation ensures that vulnerabilities have been successfully fixed. This step confirms that remediation actions were effective and did not introduce new problems. Rescanning involves using vulnerability scanners again after remediation to confirm vulnerabilities are no longer present. It provides measurable proof that fixes worked. Auditing is a systematic review of security controls and configurations to ensure they align with policies and standards. Audits verify that remediation changes were implemented correctly. Verification is the broader confirmation that remediation actions achieve the intended security improvements. It may include rescanning, auditing, and manual checks. Reporting communicates the status, progress, and effectiveness of vulnerability management efforts. Reports keep stakeholders informed and support accountability. Executive summary reports provide high-level insights into the organization's overall security posture. These reports help leadership understand risk and make strategic decisions. Trend analysis reports track vulnerability data over time to identify patterns, recurring issues, and improvements. This helps organizations adjust strategies as threats evolve. Risk assessment reports explain the potential impact of vulnerabilities and associated risks. They support informed decisions about resource allocation and mitigation strategies. The key takeaway is that vulnerability management is a continuous cycle of finding, fixing, verifying, and reporting weaknesses to reduce risk over time, and if this helped, consider liking and subscribing for more lessons like this.